everybody? Welcome to another Monday Night Coin Chat with, of course, the amazing Ravenhawk Coins right there to the side of me. Is that right? I don't know. Left, right, whatever. I don't know. Left from right. I'm just kidding. To my right, we also have Rob Finds Treasure down there in the corner. He's putting a window up, and of course, guys, we have our special guest. He's only going to be here for 5 minutes before we kick him. He is the Coin Crew. What is up, Keith from the Coin Crew? How's it going?
How you doing today, Seeker, Rob, Raven? Sure. Appreciate you having me.
I literally am having like last minute trying to fix my camera from shaking when I hit my desk issues. I think I got it during the 30-second countdown. So
you think?
Guys, welcome to the stream. You guys know how we do this every other Monday. Me, Rob, and Raven get together with the special guest tonight. It is the Coin Crew, so thank you for joining us. What we are going to be doing is taking questions for about an hour, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. We don't quite know how long we want to be on. I'm just kidding. We'll be here for an hour. We are going to try and keep it right at that hour, so when we're getting close to the 5 to 10 minute point, we will start winding it down, and we will try and answer as many questions as possible. So feel free to ask them in the chat. 1 second, I'm getting one thing set up that I totally forgot to do, but outside of that, we are going to be ready to go. So while I'm doing that, Rob, what is up, man? How is it going?
It's going good. I told Seeker and everyone before the stream started that 5 minutes before the stream, my tornado sirens went off. I had to go to the safe shelter, and then I just ran back upstairs. They're turned back off, but in the event my sirens go off, I'll mute this and I'll run out, but I'll leave it running just in case.
Just in case. Totally understand. Raven, what about you, man? How are you?
I'm doing awesome, brother. Really great night. Glad to have a good member of the community here hanging out with us. The one and only Keith from Coin Crew. He's done a lot of good stuff for people, guys. I'm waiting to see what he's got to say.
Keith does give away a lot of silver, that is for sure. He likes to do that. Nothing wrong with that, though. Everyone here likes silver, I believe. I think most people do anyway. Keith, what's going on, man?
I like silver. So
are you sure?
I think so, yeah. I love to give silver. Guys, thanks for having me. I mean, this is just awesome. I feel really humbled. But as far as going on, we've been pushing our 2K goal, which is coming up.
Congrats, by the way, brother.
Yeah, pushing hard for sure.
Well, we've had a lot of help, and we want to thank everybody in the community for all that. I mean, we couldn't be here without all the fans, without all the other channels working with us.
So, I do what I want, when I want, where I want, except I got to ask my wife. That is 100% correct.
Yeah, it is.
It's not even funny how correct that is, unfortunately.
So correct.
I love you though, babe, if you're watching this, but so guys, we made our introduction. Like I said, we do this every other week. Next week we will be back on what, Rob's channel, is that correct?
No,
or Ravens.
It's Ravens, right?
Raven. All right. Yes, I apologize. It's not on purpose. I just get confused on the order. So in 2 weeks, we'll be live on Ravens. But tonight we're here, and we're going to be answering questions about silver stacking, coin collecting, pretty much anything numismatic related at all. Gold stacking. If you're into gold, you can let us know. We'll do our best to answer stuff about crypto. Now, Coin Crew, his name is Keith, and he actually owns a coin shop. So this is the second coin dealer we've had on. And actually, the last one was on my channel as well when we had Dan from Coin Help You. He was a lot of fun to have on as well. So if you guys have any questions specific that a coin dealer may be able to answer, Coin Crew would be happy to answer those. I will pick messages out and pin them to the chat, kind of like this one right here, even though that's just a hello from Raven. So whenever I see a question, we will look at the question via the screen and try and answer it to the best of our ability. Now, last thing before we get into answering questions, if we miss your question, because sometimes the chat gets crazy, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's really, really busy and it gets crazy, we will do our absolute best to touch on it in our post-stream podcast called The After Party, which we record. It's usually about 30 to 45 minutes long, and we basically touch on topics that we weren't able to completely get into in the hour of time that we had here tonight. And if we do miss your question completely and we just don't see it at all, we apologize. We try and get them all, but like I said, sometimes it goes crazy and we just miss them, so we'll do our best. And getting with that, we have a question here from Slowthorpe, one of my channel members. Thank you, Slowthorpe. He says, are in-store premiums just as high as online premiums? Keith, have at it.
Just about, yes. Because what you have to understand is being in a store, we have to keep our supply up. And in order to keep our supply up, we're at the mercy of the online wholesalers. So most of the time, yes. However, in some cases of the 90%, we could be a little cheaper. But when it comes to the pure bullion, silver or gold, yes, the premiums are just as high.
Now, is a lot of that stuff still coming through the shop, or do you have to mostly get it from wholesalers?
It is mostly coming from wholesaler. I've noticed the past couple of weeks since the Silver Squeeze 2.0, it's almost died off walking in.
Right. And I kind of figured that. I haven't done one of my coin shop call arounds since Coin Squeeze 2.0 or Silver Squeeze 2.0, and I really need to get into that. But we'll get there. But yeah, I mean, I kind of figured it would be that way with it slowing down coming through the door. I mean, I tell people all the time, like a lot of these shops, they're depending on the wholesalers and those premiums as well. And so when you have to order from, I'm sure you order from upstate and places like that. When the premiums are high there, of course you have to be able to turn a profit and protect yourself. So it's obviously, if it comes through the door, you can buy it a little bit cheaper and then sell it a little bit cheaper, right?
That is correct. But like I said, since Silver Squeeze 2.0, I would say the in-store purchases have dropped off about 90%. That's huge.
I believe it. All right. So AAA Jimmy says, what would be a good price to buy junk dimes, quarters, and halves at? Thank you. And actually, anyone can answer this because Rob buys a lot of it.
I mean, I buy a lot of it right now. I think the melt is like 19.9, roughly 19.9. It could be 19.92 or something, but it's around almost 20 times face is the melt. So if regular dealers, I would imagine, are buying between 16 and 18, which means you're going to pay 23 to 25 times face, I would say, right now as of the current price. That fluctuates, like you guys know, with the price of silver, but a good shop was probably charging you 22 times face right now. And one that's either low or has buyers or knows that they can get more for it might be charging you 24, 25. Unless somebody else could say more.
What are you buying at right now? Because I know you walk into your
Well, I haven't bought. My last big buy was about a week before the Silver Squeeze, and it was 21 times face. So and it was not my best deal, but he was so low and I didn't buy a big bulk purchase, so I didn't get my big bulk discount. So technically, I get between 20 and 21 right around now, but I would say with the $1.50, it's gone up in the last few weeks. It's probably going to be 24, around 24 if I were to walk in today.
So what are you selling at, Keith?
About 24.
There you go. So, okay.
Yeah, come on up here and we'll sell you some at 24.
Oh, if you take online orders, I could use some walkers.
We might have to.
All right, so let's see. Here we go. Silver Eagle, nice name, says, since Eagles are too expensive right now, I like the name there, are Maples, Kangaroos, and Brits good alternatives? So Maples, Kangaroos, and Brits are definitely lower premium right now, but the premiums on those are up as well. I mean, you used to be able to get Brits for $253, for example, and now you're paying 7 or 8, right? Is that right, Keith?
Yeah, that's about right. And then when as you guys know, we have an auction every Sunday except for the last Sunday of the month. When I put that stuff on, I have to up for buy it now, so I have to figure in the PayPal fees, the shipping fees. So yeah, it's a little bit more than 7 or 8 for me to sell it right now, but to buy it, yeah, $7 or $8.
Well, I just mean across the counter in your shop. Like, what are you selling them at?
Oh, about 9 over. Yeah.
Okay, but still cheaper than Eagles because you can't even get Eagles.
Yes. I think they're almost 11, somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay. So, let's see. Matt Poe, this is for Raven, and me, but I'll let Raven get at it. Well, how do you feel about Elon Musk controlling the value of Doge?
Well, I'm not really, a crypto expert as of yet. I'm just getting my, feet wet into this realm, so to speak. But honestly, you have that with any company that has a large controlling back, somebody that's the major interest, like Elon Musk or whatever. He's the biggest financial backer they have, so he can kind of do what he wants to do.
I think, in my opinion, I think when you look at Doge and what's really scary is like the markets, like the regular stock markets are regulated, but crypto is not regulated in that way. So Elon has the ability to do that, and it's really scary to see what could happen if the regular markets were not regulated like crypto is not regulated right now, because it really is. I mean, if you're a big shot like Elon Musk, you could just go out and pick, random AB coin, buy an ass ton of it. Oh, sorry about the language. Buy a ton of it, and then make a
it the next best thing. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it's crazy. Regulation is coming. Exactly, says Penny Hoarder. Well, but Penny Hoarder says, unfortunately, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that the whole point of crypto is that it isn't regulated, but think about it on this term. I mean, you have huge whales with massive influence like Elon Musk, or let's say Bezos gets involved or whatever. It almost needs regulation, at least in some form, at least a little bit.
Well, anything that's a financial institution needs to be regulated just because of money laundering and everything else. Well, it's amazing it's gone this long without anybody really monitoring it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, even besides money laundering, just their ability to just make money out of thin air by making a quick post or two on Twitter or whatever. I mean, at some point, something needs to happen. Yeah. Capital Currency says he got in Doge at 0.00235. Wish he bought more.
Nice.
Hey guys, I'm going to tell you the name of the best investor in the world. Shoulda, coulda, and woulda. That's his name. So that's the best investor in the world. Shoulda, coulda, and woulda. But yeah, we all wish we would have bought Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, if we would all bought Ethereum 1 year ago,
it's always like that.
Yeah, I mean, shoulda, coulda, and woulda. So I'm sure I missed something. Buy the rumor, sell the news, says Penny Hoarder. There you go. All right, let's see. So Richard Sappington says, with copper cents being 3 times face plus and minus a little bit stashed away, other than that, Rob finds treasure. Anything else? Anyone else have tall stacks of pennies? I've seen Rob's closet crash, but have at it.
The closet crashed, and but the copper is not. It's almost getting back to where it was in 1980.
Yeah, getting up there.
Yep.
I mean, it's like 3 1/4 cents per penny now, technically.
Isn't it fun? Do we have a moderator? Truthful Troll. I mean, I've been kind of ignoring you. I'm gonna put you in timeout for spamming emojis though. Try not to do that. You can come back in 5 minutes as long as you don't troll. We'll be good to go. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's my uncle. Crazy, says Shane Kennedy, and then someone else says, "Yeah, they use the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe."
Yeah.
We have a member with that name now.
Which one?
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Actually, he's really nice.
Do you really? So Ike's girl says, do you really think Musk is controlling Doge, or is it more people getting excited by it because Musk makes it appear and predicts? It's not Musk controlling Doge. It's the excitement that he creates.
Yeah, but they've brought this up about a lot of these Bitcoin things where a rapper or somebody famous gets behind it, and all of a sudden a bunch of people say, "Well, I got involved because so and so told me it was good." So even a person that doesn't have, say, the money like Musk has, but has the celebrity status, can really influence what's going on as well. It's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, a lot of that hype that comes from Elon or somebody, a rapper or whoever, saying they have interest in it and they think it's going to do well. And so people buy in, and a lot of those people that buy in, they're only short-term buy-ins. They're buying in, waiting for the jump, and then sell. And so it's hard to just follow somebody. But anything Elon Musk does turn to gold pretty much. So you got to keep that in mind too.
I mean, people were talking about it at 5 cents, and Musk was starting to get on it, and then Musk said something that gets to 20 cents, and I couldn't bring myself to buy into it. And I understand, I had a good opportunity to make, 20 times my money or something at this point. But I don't know, man. It's like I don't go to casinos either. That's how I feel about it. I'm not a gambler, and that just felt way too much of a risk for me. That's why I invest in silver, because you can put your money. The thing about cryptocurrency is you can put your money into cryptocurrency, and you could do really well and make yourself a millionaire, and congrats, but there's so much risk involved. Whereas, I feel like when I'm investing in silver, I don't feel that risk at all. I mean, yes, it can go down, it can go up, but, at the very minimum, throughout history, it's kept up with inflation, and as long as it's doing that for me, that makes me happy.
Yep.
You still have
high risk, high reward.
You still have your silver if you don't sell it, unlike a lot of the stocks or the cryptos. If something happens and they go belly up, you don't have anything.
Nothing.
Mufid says, do you think buying lithium stocks are a wise decision? I don't know anything about lithium stocks, but I don't know if any of these guys do.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know about them.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I have no idea on that one. So sorry about that, my friend. Shane, this one's for Raven. He says, I resell shoes, and if any big rapper is seen with the shoe on and in pictures or anything, it drives up the resale price like crazy on the shoe.
Oh, big time. Especially, if you say, hey, this person used to own it, they wore it, if you can have them wearing the shoe, yeah, you're going to, triple, quadruple your value right off the top. It's crazy that the way that collectible, I'm a sneakerhead, and I have pairs of Jordans that I don't wear because, I bought them for $150. Now they're worth like $700-800.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So,
Right.
yeah, it's the influence of, celebrities and the like on what is going on in certain collector realms is just nuts,
Right, absolutely.
I couldn't afford sneakers like the Jordans when they first came out, and so I think when they got to like year 18, I could finally buy a pair, and by then I couldn't afford them again because they were so much more again.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can buy Jordans, but I wear New Balance because I don't care.
I like New Balance because it's good on my back and legs and knees.
Right.
Because you guys are old.
And I wear gray tube socks with red stripes, so who cares?
I want to call out really quick Bad Danny with the $5 super chat. Thank you for the support, my friend. He said, what's going on, fellas? I'm at work. That sucks. Stop by and say hey, but there's so much risk involved. Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that, Bad Danny. I appreciate it.
Very cool.
Bad Danny the man.
All right. Zilla says, unlimited market cap in Doge. Most will get burned if they don't cash out their profits. I believe that for the majority of cryptocurrency personally, but that's my opinion only. I believe that people should take their profits when they have it. There's nothing wrong with taking a profit. I mean, you never want to sit back and cry. Like if you had a bunch of Doge and sold at 50 and then it went to 70 cents, sure, you could have made more, but it could have also went to 10 cents. You know what I mean? So, there's nothing wrong with taking a profit on anything.
Take the money and run.
Looks like I'm going to get a sunburn in a few minutes here.
You got the
Every
sunshine
evening
thing.
about 8:30 it comes down.
Oh,
You can see it
snap.
kind of coming on my arm there.
So I want to answer this one. Ruben says, how much silver do I have to buy to become a millionaire in X amount of years? Ruben, the only thing I'm going to answer to that question is, I've said this in a multitude of videos, is that if you're buying silver to become a millionaire, you're not buying it for the correct reason. So
No.
that's just not why we get into silver. Silver is a good way to hedge your wealth against inflation, to protect the money you already have against inflation. With the amount of money that the government is putting in the circulation right now, which is a scary number in my mind. That's you want to be into something that's going to protect your wealth, and I think silver, again, my opinion, is a perfect place to put it for that reason. But again, that's just my opinion. Crypto to the moon, baby, says Josiah. I mean, hey, the thing about that is, yes, if you that's awesome. If you make a ton of money on it, I am so happy for you. And I know someone in my stream actually said he made 50 grand just last Saturday on crypto. That's amazing. Congrats.
That's a lot.
I wish I had the gonads to go in that heavy into it. Rob, go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I'm kind
I
of
was
hard.
going to answer Muffin's question. He asked about XRP, which is Ripple, and that's one of those intriguing ones. My dad actually sent me an email 2 years ago, and I think Ripple was at like 29 cents or something. And he said, hey, this thing's going to be $10 in about 3 years. And I was thinking, do I really want to spend the money and sit on crypto? And so Ripple's been on my mind for a while, but it hasn't. I mean, it's jumped up along with all the other Bitcoins or all the other digital currencies now. But at the end of the day, it's not. I don't know if I would invest in it still. I mean, it's intriguing because it has some upswing, but at the end of the day, and it's affordable. But at the end of the day, man, I would say do your homework. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny that he brought it up because Ripple's been on the back of my mind for the last couple of years.
Nickel Nation, I told Truthful Troll 5 minutes ago that if he kept trolling that we would ban him. So just go ahead and ban him. Not a big deal. Just move on. Let's see. XRP is the banker's coin. It's a pump and dump, says Zilla. It seems like Zilla knows a lot more about crypto than we do. So keep in mind, guys, everything I say about crypto, I know a lot about silver. I know like 1/100th of 1% the amount about crypto that I know about silver. So keep that in mind.
XRP is backed and created by some bankers.
Right.
Correct. But I do like the pump and dump. That's more what I was getting at is, if you can find something at 30 cents buy as much as you can of it. Wait for it to hit $3, $5, $7 if you have the patience. And when you invest in something at 30 cents, even if you bought 10,000 shares, your downside is minimal, but your upside could be large. And that's why a lot of those stocks like Ripple are attractive for a pump and dump, but not for a buy and sit and wait for the next Bitcoin out of it. Not going to happen.
Right. There's just too much of it out there. The market cap for XRP to get what the reason Bitcoin is worth 60 grand. Outside of speculation is because, compared to the other cryptocurrencies, like even Ethereum, Bitcoin only has 21 million maximum, whereas Ethereum, I think, is 84 million. So, if you look at the market cap with Ethereum at 4, it's basically, if it were Bitcoin, it'd be at 16,000, if that makes any sense.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, especially people that follow regular stocks. At the end of the day, when a company has low income or low earnings, they'll end up doing buybacks of their own stocks to minimize the number of shares so that their earnings per share is increased. That way they can hit their targets and drive their stock prices up. They do it all the time. So when you have unlimited market cap like that, you're dividing that over the earnings over all those shares or the caps, and it makes your price a lot smaller.
Right. Rob, the stock expert here. So let's go. So I know I've probably missed a few questions already. Shane, this is just comments. He says, my sister invested 5K in crypto and she's up to like 46K. She took out her initial investment, is still up 36. Nice. That's nice. Keep it up. I have over 200K in BTC, expecting it to pump soon. Awesome, dude. Awesome. I really do hope that works out. I really do. You are
gutsy.
Yeah, you have more guts than I have.
Way more guts.
That's scary. But that's sometimes you take a risk in life. If you don't do that, you don't get where people get it. Look at Bitcoin. Whoever thought it hit 60K? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, some people did, but the majority of people did not. The majority of people did.
And what's that old saying? There's those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those that wonder.
I gotta try to figure something out here. This is getting to me.
Yeah.
So what's a good price to buy Morgans and Peace dollars at with Silver Squeeze 2.0? I do know that the cost on calls have went up, but as far as actual uncirculated or even nice like high AU better dates, they have went up, but it's hard to tell you because it depends on the year mint marking condition of the coin. But as far as calls are concerned, what are calls going for, Keith?
I've been paying $25 and up across the counter.
What are you selling them for?
Probably about 28 to 30 for the calls. Yeah.
Right.
And that's just a call. It's not quite a fine, obviously, but
yeah.
So what about VG plus or fine?
I'd be about 28, 29 to buy those.
Okay.
And then I'd be about 33 to sell them.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to maneuver this sun around here.
Yeah, it's okay, man. Go put something up in your window.
Yeah.
All you need is 2 taps.
No, actually, hey, is it okay? I actually can do something like that. Give me 1 minute. Is that okay? Can I step away for a minute? No? Yeah?
CR said, Rob, please finish. What did I interrupt something? If I interrupted something, I apologize.
Unless they missed the last thing I was talking about was the you either make things happen, you watch things happen, or you wonder what the heck happened. You have 3 choices in life to do those. So that's basically the 3 groups of people that you want to be in. I'm a little scared to wonder what the heck happened. And sometimes I fall in that category, but I try to make things happen. Although right now I'm watching things happen with Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're just watching from the outside in. Jim Cope made the comment. He said, "What did he say?" He said, "Only 1% of the population owns some amount of Bitcoin." That's fair, but that doesn't give me any more guts to invest in it. I'm just gonna be honest. It's like anything else. When is it going to be replaced? When's the next big thing going to come along that replaces it? That's really what bothers me more than anything. Or when are people just going to lose faith?
What's the amount of Bitcoin you technically can own?
Oh, like a Satoshi or something, which is like 0.000000001.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I got like $9 in Bitcoin. Yeah. It was free, so I'm not buying that.
AG47 Recon says Keith needs to put some solar panel on the window.
Well, I could walk up over there in about a minute and put a sheet over that window. I got some on my showcase.
You can do something.
Hang on just 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. We're good.
Okay, hang on.
All right, so let's see. I know we missed some questions. Guys, feel free to repost your questions every few minutes if we don't get to them, and we'll try to get to them. It is okay to repost the same question here, as long as you're not spamming it every 30 seconds. So
Michael Bryan, Keith said that 90% is selling in his shop around 24 times face.
Selling in a shop around 24 times face.
Selling.
Gotcha. Hey, there you go. That's better. So Dylan R says, I'm going to let you guys handle this because I've been dominating the chat, even though it's typical for the host. But Dylan says, I'm new to stacking. Should I buy rounds or maples? Thanks, everyone. Have at it, guys. Keith, I had to pick.
Should you buy rounds or maples? I would go with the less expensive one. I personally don't prefer maples because they tend to milk. And when they milk, you're going to get a generic price for them anyway.
So you'll buy higher and then sell for less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll just
Well,
sell
I do that. I do that a lot.
Well, I meant, I know, I get that you're in the business to move it, but I mean, an average person, why pay an extra few dollars on a premium if you can get generic rounds just for stacking?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about maples is what Keith says is they milk a lot, and when that happens, it's going to be the same as a generic round. So you're going to buy it as a premium round, and then if it gets milk spots, you're going to sell it as a generic round.
And then they're actually going to be harder to sell than a generic round because a lot of people say, oh, it's got milk spots, I'll just take the generic.
Yeah.
Even if you sell it for the same price.
That's very true. That is very, very true. It's one of those things that the milk spotting is such an ugly thing, even though it's really not that big a deal what it is, but it just occurs. And yeah, same thing. And I won't buy a milk spotted coin if I can avoid it at all costs.
Right. Ike's Girl says, Coin Crew, what is your biggest coin seller, i.e. Buffalo Nickel, etc.? I'm assuming she means numismatic.
Numismatic, it would have to be Morgan dollars, and then after Morgan's would probably be Buffalo nickels.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, how high is silver going to be per ounce next year? Max, unfortunately, there's no way anyone could predict that. I mean, I think it's going to go up. I just based on what's going on in the economy right now and the amount of money that's being shoveled into the economy. I think it's going to go up based on inflation alone. But of course, that's a guess. The truth is tomorrow or next year it could be 20 instead of 40. I don't really know. So
I just can't wait for it to hit 30, and if it does, I think then we'll see a secondary push or potentially a secondary push. But we got to get that. We got to hit that 30 eventually at some point.
Well, we have to hold 30. We actually hit 30 right after Silver Squeeze 1.0, but it came back down so fast. Like it needs to hit 30 naturally without some sort of artificial push like that squeeze. But
I think it needs to hold it for a couple days.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It needs to hold.
Needs to hold, right?
Chance said, "Have you seen any of the newer maples with milk spots?" I'm seeing less and less issues with maples, but it's still there's that possibility with them.
Right. Let's see. Do I live in I live in that area, Ron? Yes, and you probably have seen me at a show. In fact, a lot of people, guys, just to let you know, will see us, me, Rob, and Keith at a coin show in Grove, Oklahoma, on June 25th, 6th,
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, 25, 6, and 7. So we will all be at that coin show in Grove, 25th, 6th, and 7th of June. If you guys want to make a trip down and meet us, we will all be there. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's see.
I don't know if it'll be a lot of fun. We'll all be there, though.
I'm going to have fun. It'll be fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, it'll be fun, Rob.
I'll be home in Norman, Oklahoma. Quarantine.
Jim Cope says, I hope it hits 1,000. I own a little over 1,000 ounces. Man, if it hit 1,000, I don't think
our stuff won't be.
My personal opinion is there's no way in the world silver could ever hit 1,000 outside of some sort of hyperinflation, meaning the devaluation or the debasing of the U.S. dollar. Like, it is never, in my opinion, it is never going to be worth $1,000 of the dollar that you have in your hand today, what the dollar can buy today. It's never going to be worth 1,000 of those. But it could be, on paper, $1,000 just because our dollars are worth, so little, if we go through some sort of debasement of our currency at some point. I mean,
Well,
look at it this way: in the history of the world, there's never been a fiat currency that made it all the way that ever survived forever. But gold and silver have. What were you going to say, Rob?
No, I was going to say at some point there was over $1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars that could have bought a ounce of silver, but now they can't.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, silver was $1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars per ounce at one point.
At one point it was.
So, anywho, what else is in here?
Someone asked me if I was in Muskegon. Captain Jigga said, I look familiar. Have you ever been in Muskegon? I have. I still am.
He's sitting there.
I'm sitting here in Muskegon.
Zilla says they would find another medium to replace silver if it hit $1,000 an ounce. I mean, if it hit $1,000 of today's dollars, then yes, I see what you're saying there for sure.
I wonder how many Utah goldbacks it takes to buy an ounce of silver.
1,000th of an ounce for each one.
Yeah, then you got. I was just talking out loud, but I wonder how many Utah goldbacks you could cash in for that. Get the calculator out.
16.
Someone do the math.
15, 16.
Yeah,
right in there.
There you go.
That's just quick in my head. I don't know if that's exactly right.
You were thinking of the gold to silver ratio and then quickly did the math?
Yeah, that's exactly how I come up with it.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Seeker, actually, let's ask this of Keith. He says, what is your opinion? I have an 1881 Liberty Head $5 gold piece and got an offer for $500. Would you take it? Keith, what would you sell a $5 lib for?
600 or more, unless it was like trashed. I mean, if it was real scratched.
What would you buy it across the counter?
500 or more.
Okay. So 500 is... Go ahead.
If 500 is a super deal to buy one for, what's he saying? He's saying he's got one he wants to sell?
He got a $500 offer on one that he has. She has, sorry. But anyway, ask if that was a good deal.
That's it seems kind of low unless you're just selling it to a coin dealer. But for a collector, that seems too low for them to offer you that.
So Julie Niehaus says, do you expect this is a good question, actually. Do you expect the premiums for the ASE Type 2 to remain as high this fall after they've been in the market for a while? What do you think the premiums on the Type 2 are even going to look like, Keith?
I think part of the reason why the Type 1 premiums have went up is anticipation of the Type 2. And so when the Type 2 comes out, I think we may see another extra $1 or $2 on top of the already premiums on the Type 1. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they're setting us up for. Rob's over there shaking his head. What's he?
Oh, go ahead, Rob. Do you have something to add to that?
You have an opinion?
No, I was just thinking, shaking my head, another $1 or $2. I was just thinking, man, can they just keep putting premiums on these things?
Yeah,
they're going to.
This one right here, if it hit 1,000, you would not be able to sell it. Who would buy it? Actually, Emil, the way I look at it is if it hit 1,000, who the heck would sell it? Because again, just what I just said a couple of minutes ago, it would just be because of a debasement of our currency, and who would want US dollars at that point instead of silver? Because if it ever gets to that point, it's probably going to continue to crash, is my point. So I think you'd have more trouble buying it than selling it, honestly.
Probably more trouble buying it.
Let's see. There's a lot of people that just
when it comes to this premium thing, though, I think it's not right. It's really a way to control pricing and profit that's being made, and price fixing in most industries is actually illegal. So, in my opinion, the whole silver squeeze stuff and the premiums that used to be $1 over spot, $1.50 from major bullion dealers, now you're $9, $10, $11 a piece because they want to inflate silver to a certain point or keep it at a certain rate is just not right.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's how I feel.
No, it's fine to feel that way. I mean, a lot of it's just based on demand, though. Like, I mean, there is no question.
When you got so there is demand. I can't say there's not demand, but at the same time, you see a lot of weird posturing and stuff, and things being done to keep that control on those premiums. There's nothing really completely justifying $10, $11, $12 an ounce above spot for an eagle. I'm sorry, it's just not right. They were $18, $19 a year ago. You know, I mean, so like it just, to me, it's just,
I mean,
as a normal, like somebody that's an entry coming in and looking at this and they want to start stacking, they want to start doing stuff, they're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, why am I paying this much more when it's not really a justified increase?
I don't agree.
Well, we don't have to, you know?
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're seeing that market on the internet. That is one market. It is a paper market. A physical market is what everybody wants for it or is willing to buy it for. Like the paper market says it's what, 27 and some change right now, right? Yeah. I'll pay anybody walking in my store a lot more than that. I'll pay $31. So that tells you that that paper market is not the physical market. You try to get, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but COMEX has got a little asterisk down at the bottom of their contract saying, if we don't have the silver to fulfill your contract, we'll just cash you out. They're not guaranteeing you the silver when you buy a contract.
I actually didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. And I don't deal with paper silver. I've only dealt with bullion my whole life.
It does. It makes it hard for people coming into the market to understand what's going on. But guys, the best way to deal with the price of silver is just what Silver Seeker does. You call around the different shops and find out what it's really worth. That is the price of silver.
It's what anybody's willing to pay for at the time that it's being sold.
If a dealer is willing to pay a price, then it's obviously worth that much or more. I can't go into an auction and bid without getting outbid because everybody who knows me knows I'm a dealer and they know I'll resell the item. So yeah, it makes it hard for the newbies. It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a misclick. Even though I'll get back to that one too. Just to continue on, Rayman says that Bullion Exchange is offering Type 2 2021s for $460.
Wow.
Like, do you have to buy a bunch for that or just singles? I mean, obviously he's not here to verbally answer. So I'm sitting there waiting for an answer. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to buy a bunch for that. That is something I don't even think the U.S. Mint is accepting orders in the bulk right now for that. So someone who is doing that could be what happens like on eBay when you pre-order something, and if they can't meet the order, they'll cancel the order. So that is subject to whatever the U.S. Mint comes out with. So that could change.
So CoinSniper Chris says it's just not all shops will tell you what they pay for stuff, which is frustrating. And there are. I mean, you've seen that in videos that I've done. There are some shops that are really leery about giving that number over the phone. Keith, can you say why that is? I mean, obviously you have no problem saying here. So can you say why some shops do that?
I can tell you why I used to have problems with it. I can't speak for other people. My biggest problem with it when I first was giving quotes over the phone was simply, is it my competition shopping around, trying to find out what I'm buying? Because I used to travel a lot more than I did, and I did a lot of coin shows. Competition is actually good for the soul, but some coin dealers get the mindset that if my competition knows what I'm buying for, I won't be able to buy because they'll beat me out every time. Or they have the person right there and they're going to try to buy it for more, or they're going to try to buy it for less and just come dump it to me. That's how I used to feel. But now I don't care. If the whole world knows what I'm willing to pay for something, that's my opinion, is they're insecure about what they're actually wanting to pay.
So so when you say insecure, so you think some of them are just, they know they're paying low and they're afraid to say it over the phone because they'll look bad?
That could be it. And again, with the competition thing.
And with competition.
A lot of people, when you're young in business, you don't understand that competition is actually a good thing. Well, a lot of people are afraid of competition. But in the coin industry, it's the best thing in the world. That's why Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS and even Burger King is guilty. Burger King doesn't even buy advertisement to try to, or not advertisement, marketing to try to figure out where to put their new Burger Kings. They'll just set a new store up right across the street from McDonald's and call it good.
Yeah.
Competition is great, guys. And
Fair
people
enough.
shouldn't be afraid to give their prices.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I won't. On and from the consumer side of that, if I call a coin shop and they won't offer me prices over the phone, I automatically write them down as dishonest. To be honest, because you shouldn't have an issue with saying what your prices are if you're confident in what you're selling.
Now
We're
to this day, though, I still will not give 14 karat gold, 18 karat gold prices over the phone, because if someone brings me in something that is resellable, I will pay above the price. And if they say, "Oh, well, what's your minimal price?" And then I'll give them my minimal price, and I say, "But that could be twice as much." It just depends on what you come in for.
Yeah.
Right,
But
and that's understandable, but you're still being upfront and honest and saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, look, here's the minimum price. If it's premium, it's got a collector's name to it or something, I'm going to give you a little bit more." I'd come to your store every day after hearing a response like that. It's the guy that I call up and say, "Hey, man, I want to know what 90%ers are at, what you're
I
bulling,
don't know.
at."
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. What do you want?
Well, yeah. I'll tell
Straightforward
you-
and honesty is the best thing in the world for any coin dealer. So if anybody's out here that's a coin dealer watching this, be straightforward, be honest with your clients. And if you're paying a little low, say, "Hey, I know you can probably get more, but this is all I can do." Be straight. People will love to deal with you more for your honesty
Yep.
than trying to, I guess you could say, pull wool under their eyes or something.
I love hearing that, man. Seriously. And you're right. And I've done the videos where I've called around to these different coin shops. I know a lot of the viewers here have probably seen them. And there have been those dealers that, just completely beat around the bush. "Oh, I don't know, this and that,
Yeah, that's wrong.
just hee-hawing around." And you could tell that they were afraid to say over the phone. So no confidence in what they're buying or selling for. Like Raven said, just move on, right?
Yep.
Just move on.
You should always move on if you're not comfortable with who you're dealing with.
That's right. All right. So I know we missed a lot of questions, guys. Like I said earlier, feel free to repost them, even if it's only been like 1 minute. Go ahead. It's hard to scroll up and catch. So feel free to repost if you have any questions. And guys, don't forget this.
There was one that was asked a couple times of you about what you think the hottest round is going to be.
Oh, the hottest round. Oh man, there's so many new ones that come out.
A lot.
They just showed the new cheetah today. And the cheetah is the 2021 cheetah is gorgeous, but
Nice.
it's also eight over or more, just depending on how many you buy. So it's like, oof, it's hard to say. Like go ahead.
It's
Well,
hard to
look at
catch
that
a lot of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that Mandalorian. Look at how that jumped.
Oh, I know the Beskar bars.
Yeah, the very first round even.
Oh yeah, I still got a sealed tube of those. I'm afraid to open them.
I got
dude,
two.
yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky because I gave them away, in doing the coin roll hunts and everything, and I had an extra roll, and I was like, oh no, okay, I'll let it go. I should have held on to it.
Yeah, you should have.
But some of the disappointing ones, honestly, I think the Kong and Godzilla was a disappointing round. They could have done a little bit more in the graphic. The packaging looks great, but the coin itself is like, what?
The only problem I had with the Kong, I actually like the Kong and Godzilla coin. The only problem I had with them is they, like even the ones in sealed tubes, came scratched. Like there are almost no perfect ones, and I did not like that. So Coin Crew, why do pawn stores overprice things by so much? Not all, but some. Often we will see 15 over on Eagles.
15 over for a retail is on a little bit on the high side, with the premiums being about 11, but it's still not out of sync. But what you have to remember about a pawn shop is how I refer to pawn stores, is they're usually the owner is not the one working. They have other people working for them, and employees are very expensive. Unlike a coin shop, where usually it's the owners working the shop, and very rarely do they have multiple employees in there. So that's one of the most expensive things is the product and the employees, and that would be why.
Hey Rob, I know you've been kind of quiet. We'll try and find one for you. In fact,
JW
says
you don't need to try to find one for me. I just want to chime in when it's appropriate.
Well, I was noting with JW saying LOL back in your corner.
He's just picking on me. He's just picking on me.
I know. I want the Sioux and Hunter coins, 10 each. Where can I find them? I have no idea. Well, no, the Sioux Chief rounds were on AppMex. I do not know where the Hunter coins are. You're talking about the Hunter Buffaloes, I assume? I
With
think
the
that's what
BU
he's talking.
finish.
Yeah, just the the rounds. They have the hunter on one side and the buffalo on the other.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he's talking about. So Jim, Coin Crew might have some of the hunter buffaloes if that's what you're talking about. So let's see. Sheridan Ford says, "Is shipping silver eagles from Canada to America worth it?" I don't know what it costs to ship from Canada to America.
It's gotten expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I know what it costs to ship from America to Canada, but I don't know about the reverse.
Yeah, Red was complaining the other day that it went up like 25 or 30% recently.
Wow.
Holy smokes!
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it starts, that's a real bite into your profit where it almost makes you not want to do it,
Party Pickle says, "What I here we go." Oh, I missed. Hold on. What I really want to know is what led to the decision of Rob trimming that luscious beard of his.
Summer.
Summer is the easy answer.
Yeah, summertime.
Hey guys, don't forget to smash the like while you're in here. We got 323 watching. A couple of trolls hit the thumbs down, and I'm sure me saying this will cause a couple of more than them to do it. So let's balance them out. Let's see. Raven, enjoyed you and Plumber's last video Tuesday. Looking forward to more, says Debbie. Awesome.
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that.
What's up, Baba Boy? How are you doing? Let's see. What else did I miss here? U.S. Mint made silver buffaloes in 2001. Do you think they'll make it again? Probably not, because the U.S. Mint doesn't produce commemorative. Because remember, those silver buffaloes from 01 aren't even like it's not a round. It's an old 90% silver dollar. But no, they probably won't because it's a commem. They made it in 01 and that'd be it. But I mean, you can buy them all day as silver rounds.
So Dan Logano wants to know, because he's asked a lot tonight, when should we trade our silver for gold?
That's a good question. What do you think there, Keith? Or Rob? Rob, either one.
Yeah, let Rob go first, and if you want, you can have my opinion too.
When should you trade your silver for gold? I mean, if I'm sitting on 1,000 ounces of gold and I keep a spreadsheet, 1,000 ounces of silver, and I keep a spreadsheet, and my collective cost of all that silver is, let's say, $21, and I can part with enough silver to get some gold and still be in the profit, I would do it. I mean, I would never want to deplete my silver at all. But if you're buying silver right now, I mean, whenever I buy silver, I write down in my logbook what I'm stacking for myself and what I paid for it so that I know how many ounces I have and how much my collective average of my silver cost is. So if I see a time that I can buy my silver when the gold to silver ratio is better than it historically has been, and I can trade some of that profit on my silver for some gold at maybe the gold's at a little bit lower point than I believe it's going to stay at, then I'll do that. That's how I exercise trading in some of my stack for gold. But I would never take all my silver, even if gold got to 1,600 an ounce and silver was at 40. I wouldn't trade all my silver in and go buy cash it in for gold myself personally. I like having breakable, usable ounces and fractionals of silver, not just chunks of gold myself. And I wouldn't, if I did trade it in, I'd buy silver by the ounce. I wouldn't buy it in the fractionals, or buy gold by the ounce. I wouldn't buy it in the fractionals.
You know what? If you really want fractional gold, you can always buy like the 1 gram bars that are like sealed into one big bar. That way you can break them apart. But they're not coins, so the premium on those reselling them aren't going to be as high. But at least you can get them a little bit cheaper too. Just something to think about.
You want fractionals, then get some gold nuggets.
There you go. Keith, did you want to chime in on that before we move on?
Yeah, I do it a little bit different. Rob worries, or he does it more, not worries, does it more on the dollar value. I just do it on the ratio value. What I'm looking to trade my silver in for gold is when it starts going below 50. And then as the further down it goes, the more silver I'll get rid of for gold. And then when it starts doing the reverse, I do the reverse. I do that back and forth. I don't worry about the price per ounce of either or. I worry about the ratio because it's all about increasing my stack. And the way to increase a stack, if you're trading one metal for the other, is to play the ratios, not the price.
And I think maybe you might have misheard me, Keith. I was talking about the prices that by how much I would trade in. I was specifically talking about only trading in when the ratios were favorable so that I could trade some of my silver in, and I figure out what I would need to sell it to get some of that favorable ratio for gold. And
I must have dozed on that part.
Yeah,
I
it's all right.
apologize.
But I did talk a lot about profit, but that was mainly on what I would be willing to risk of my silver stack when the gold ratio was favorable.
Sounds good.
So AG47 Recon says, this is going back to LCSs and premiums. He says, with LCSs that have multiple employees and a website footprint and located in a prime location or more premium, they will charge just to cover their overhead costs. I assume you're going back to why do the pawn shops charge more as well with that same scenario, AG47 Recon. But I see what you're saying. The only argument I would have is that if they're in that prime location and they have the employees, they probably also have the traffic to make up and cover all of that as well. I would assume, at least, anyway. But,
volume's important,
right? Volume's huge. I mean, I'd rather make $1 100 times than $10 5 times. You know what I mean? So, if that makes any sense. Let's see.
I think that goes back to that quick nickel versus the slow dime saying from way back when we was kids.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Rob finds treasure. Do you think there will be more W circulating minting in 1920 quarters?
No.
Yeah.
No, they did it. They did it for a couple of years, and they were pretty adamant that was a temporary program, and we were grateful that they did it for 2 years. But it looks like will there never be? Probably not never, but there's not going to be any for several years, in my opinion.
Hey, Raven. Rick Howe Jr. has a question about the crypto chat tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 Eastern, on Plumber Stacker's channel. We're going to be discussing the next step in our journey as newbies into cryptocurrency.
All right. Sounds great.
Thanks.
Chai Charin says, do you guys think ASC premiums will reach 15 plus with the Type 2 Eagles? Anyone? Keith?
It's really hard to say. I mean, because we've already touched 11 a couple different times, and we're just below 11 now. So are they priming us up? Is that what they're talking about? We don't know. It's just like the price of silver. It's too hard to predict.
Fair enough. This is a good one. Ike's Girl. I can answer this, but I think everyone else can as well, and I've been kind of dominating the chat, so we'll let them go. Says, some of us do not have thousands of dollars to put into buying bullion coins to stack. How do you suggest we go about increasing our inventory? Rob, you've been kind of the quietest. I think Raven's been the second quietest. So why don't you guys go in that order?
I'm going to let Raven go first, actually, because Raven's been the quietest for sure.
Oh, okay.
I figured since we're doing this right now, then Raven can go first.
All right, have at it.
Honestly, when I started my channel, if you go back to the very first videos that I made, I talked about how you can hustle and do well. And literally with, a couple $100, you can start searching coins, pennies, nickels, and whatnot to build up a little bit of a inventory that you can get rid of later, especially if you're searching half dollars. You just start by getting as many rolls as you can and keep going back until you can build up for more. And, when you're finding silver at face value, and especially with what the value of silver is nowadays, you're not doing bad at all. My suggestion is to stick with nickels and higher as much as you can. And especially if you can get into the half dollars, because, you're looking at now, $5 or $6 for a 40%er, $14, $15 for a 90% half. And, that's one way that you can, flip your own stuff. Also get into trading and stuff with people in the different communities. You'd be amazed at sometimes what people will give you in trade because they value something that you have more than what you value it at. So you want to look out of the box in those ways. And I know Rob has a lot of ways to tell you guys how to do the same stuff. So go ahead, Rob.
Well, I mean, I started all fresh again October 26, 2017. And I do a lot of coin roll hunting, and I know that can be tiresome and tedious for some. So if that's not your thing, then use what you would normally do without any additional cost to yourself. Like if you're going to the bank to do a withdrawal or a deposit or to cash a check or whatever you're doing, then while you're at the bank, ask if they have any big dollar coins, or ask if they have any $half and buy those. You can always respend them, but sometimes you'll get free silver that way, or at least face value silver. And then while you're grocery shopping, look in the Coinstar bins. And I'm being like, this is the entry level. If you have no usable income right now that you can, because all the money is being used for bills, hey, then use your current daily activities and decide, I'm going to the bank today. I'll make sure I ask them about this. I'm going to the grocery store with my wife to go get the groceries. I'll make sure I check the Coinstars, and I'll even ask if they have any odd coins in the drawer. You can do a lot of things like that where you can pay face value or nothing from a Coinstar and get silver. And then you can take that silver that you got at that value. And if you don't want old constitutional silver, you're not into coin collecting and you want to stack silver, you can take that money, sell it to a guy like Keith at his shop, and or then rebuy it for stuff that you'd like to stack. But there's a lot of ways. I mean, I've done well off of just coin hunting, and Raven hit the nose on the head. I have sold books of Lincoln Memorial cents that are read to you for my coin roll hunts that are partial complete sets, and I've got feasible income from that. I paid a penny for each of those, and now I can turn that into buying silver. There's a lot more other things like varieties and you name it, but there's a lot of ways to do it without cost. I wouldn't go driving around every grocery store checking Coinstars because the gas cost will eat up any things you find. But if you're doing things normally anyway, then be sure to have a head on your shoulders that says, I'm going to ask and I'm going to make it an effort to see if I can find some silver today.
No doubt. And you hit on a very important thing, and that's ask. Ask, because you'd be amazed at how many times you go to a bank or at a store and they don't even want to keep, the special dollars or the silver that's in their drawer. Or if you even tell them it's silver, a lot of them give it up. But be careful who you tell the value of silver to at some of those places, because then you won't be able to get it there again. But definitely keep asking. Go ahead, Rob.
I like to just say, do you have any odd coins in your drawer that you're tired of counting every night? I'll buy them. And by sometimes just saying that, they'll pull out stuff like I'll get the foreigns at face value sometimes, and I'll get some silver foreigns that didn't even know were silver. I mean, you just have to ask. You have to be diligent. But like my mom always said, my blood mom, if you don't ask, it's always a no. So why not ask? It's an answer. Worst case.
I'd like to add one short thing to that. I agree with you guys completely, but Ike's girl, for you guys that don't have thousands of dollars to stack in it, treat it like a retirement. Just buy $2 or $5 or $10 a week, whatever you can afford, week after week. Don't worry about how much it costs. Your stack will get big eventually.
That's a great point, Steve.
Do what they do as well.
It's like The Richest Man in Babylon, the book. If you can take a chunk of what you earn every week, that you can cut out. Maybe it's one less Starbucks in the morning if you do that. Maybe it's one less Mickey D's for lunch. If you just say, hey, if I ate $10 less outside the house a week, damn, we just had a big lightning strike.
That's
yeah. That right out my window.
Is that coming this way, Rob? Do you know?
What's that?
Is that
I already had tornado sirens. They stopped, but it's pretty bad out there. Bottom line is, Keith's right. If you could take $20 out of your paycheck, well, that's not even $20 anymore. $30 out of your paycheck, roughly $32, whatever it is for generic now, and buy an ounce a week, you'd have 52 ounces in a year. I mean, and that's just doing that one thing, one thing.
Even if you can only afford a few dollars a week, buy some 90%. Just whatever you can spare, whatever you're going to, throw away at the bag of chips you go into the convenience store and buy. Just do that. It helps. Right.
I'll tell you right now, and I'm not judging anyone, but if I had a vice, well, I have vices, but if I had a vice that I was trying to get rid of, let's say I smoked a pack a day. If I could justify buying an ounce of silver a week and replace my cigarette problem with a silver problem, now I'm not only not spending it, but I'm saving it. It's like a $64 a week swing. It's a big swing.
Yeah. Very big.
Yeah, and another thing that I've noticed too, and people that'll notice this, is once you start having this lifestyle, you will have more assets that grow with it, other things that come along with doing it. It's a very strange phenomenon until you're involved in it yourself, but it does happen because you make those life changes. It will affect the rest of your life, and you'll enjoy more things.
Exactly. Yep. And guys, we are past 8, or we're right at 8. So we'll answer one more I saw, and it's really quick. Silver Seeker, do you think they keep saying coin shortage to try and pick out as much silver as they can? No, I really don't. I think it's not a coin shortage. It's a distribution issue. I think I've said that before. Mm-hmm. And they're not saying that we're short on dimes, quarters, and $half, or dimes, quarters, and nickels and pennies. And the coin shortage I've never seen on $half. My banks have brought up to me the coin shortage again, but they said $half aren't affected. So, woo, Rob.
Woo.
Rob, I heard that.
That's strong there.
Be safe, man.
I do want to say something. Mustang Dave brought up a good point. He says he finds all the scrap copper wire that he can find and turns that, recycling. If your state has a recycling program and right now you're just throwing it into the recycling trash for the trash people to take, don't do it, man. Recycle it in. How awesome is it if you can recycle the stuff like copper wire or glass or milk jugs or whatever and turn that into it and make it a fun thing. Once a month, go down to the recycler, turn it all in, and then go to your LCS, support them, and buy some silver and add it to your stack and be like, bam, last month's case of beer bought me an ounce of silver.
MTN Vault says they won't order them halves because of the coin shortage. I think that's an excuse. That's an excuse for them. They're like, oh, there's a coin shortage. We'll use that as an excuse to not order halves for this guy. Because my bank straight up told me we're having issues with dimes, quarters, and all that.
So did mine.
But he said $half not a problem. They're ordering me my boxes every single week. So
$half and pennies I can get whenever I want.
That is an excuse. So that we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys, with some goodbyes there. We really need to get Rob out of here with that store. Maybe he needs to be turning off his computer and not getting it fried.
Maybe.
In fact, if there's we're going to talk about it right after we close, but if there's not a podcast Friday, that will post why. That might be why. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll try and record it later. But let's get into there. Guys, let's go ahead and call it there. If we missed any of your questions, we apologize. We'll be back on in 2 weeks over at Ravenhawk's Coin Channel with a new guest, and we will be excited to be over there. So if you guys haven't been over to Raven's channel, make sure you go over there and subscribe so you don't miss out on it. Also, thank you so much to our special guest Coin Crew. Guys, if you haven't subbed to Coin Crew, make sure you get over there and show him that sub love. Very cool channel, very cool guy to hang out with. And, he's a person. He does stuff.
I'm just a guy.
And, guys, of course, everyone knows Rob Finds Treasure, the king in the house. But if, for some reason, you haven't subscribed to Rob, make sure you subscribe to Rob as well. With that said, let's let everyone say their goodbyes. Raven, start it out.
Hey, just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the awesome support and being here, all the positivity going on in the chat, the great questions and stuff tonight. Had a lot of fun. My guest coming up is a pretty nice sized channel. I'm going to keep it a surprise for now, but a younger gentleman that is into coins, and it should be a lot of fun.
Exciting.
I think I already know who it is now. Just that description, I think I already know who it is.
Raven, is it something that you sit on? No, I'm just kidding.
Nope.
I know. I'm just kidding.
But you can give a guess if you like.
I think my guess is part of his name has part of my name in it.
That is a good guess.
Thank you.
All right. Rob, you want to say something goodbye?
You know what? I always enjoy it. I know it's quiet in the beginning, but listen, whenever we have an expert like Keith who runs his own shop talking about bullion and numismatic prices, about how he buys and sells and things like that, there's no reason for me to talk. I'm on here every week. And so I enjoy taking a back seat when needed. And I need to take more back seats once in a while. So definitely, I know I didn't talk a lot in the beginning. I'm probably going to have the longest wrap up and goodbye, but I got to get my time on. Anyway, I'm kidding. I had a lot of fun with you guys as always. Keith, man, you're a blast, brother. Looking forward to seeing you in 5 weeks or 6 weeks, I guess. And hopefully before then as well, sir.
Before we have Keith say goodbye, I do want to call out, I missed the super chat and I apologize. Michael and Lord Zachary Burnett says, thanks, Rob, Raven, Silver Seeker. Amazing chats. Welcome, Keith and Coin Crew to the chat. Shout out to the Coin Crew Nation. Thank you so much for that. And Capital Currency, thank you for the $1.99 super sticker as well. All right, Keith, what do you want to say on your way out, my man?
Guys, I am just humbled. Thanks for having me on the show. I had a blast. If you guys haven't subbed my channel, go check out the Coin Crew channel. We're young. I think we'll be 10 months old on the 13th of this month. So we're going to have one heck of a GAW on the 23rd. We hope to see you there. But again, I am very pleased at being invited here. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. And that is it, guys. So thank you again for coming. Make sure you go over to our Ravens so you don't miss out in 2 weeks. And outside of that, guys, thank you so much for being here. Love you all. Thank you for joining us like you always do. And again, my apologies for any questions that were missed. It was not on purpose. We will try and get to them in a couple of weeks. Hey, Gilbert with the $5 try again. Thank you, Gilbert, for the super chat. I do appreciate that. You guys are awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.